Hey guys, and welcome back. Well, I received one question over and over and over. Can you do a tutorial on mesh in Maya? So that's what we're going to do today, okay? So here we go. Right guys, well, we're in Maya 2018 and it's time that we take a look at mesh, okay? So first of all, what we need is an object to work with, right? So I'm going to go in and I'm going to simply create a polygon cube. Come on, yeah, create polygon cube. Let's hit R and stretch that out a little bit, so it kind of looks like a, I don't know, stretch cube. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use mesh to create an instance network, all right? So what is an instance? An instance is something slightly different than a copy, and it's not something that is new to Maya. If we go to Edit and Duplicate Special option box, you can see that there's an option to copy an object or to instance an object, okay? Now, if you copy an object, you will get a duplicate that has the same properties as the original and so forth, and if I change that one, the other one would not change. An instance, however, is kind of a, I don't know how to explain it, but let me put it this way. If I instance this into 10 copies and I change the original, the instance will change as well, okay? That's basically how that works. All right, so we got this object and we want to use mesh to create an instance network. Now, Maya has a special mesh workspace. So instead of working in Maya Classic, we're going to go in and we're going to go to the mesh workspace. And once we do that, we get a lot of stuff on our screen. So what is all that stuff? Well, on the right hand side we have our attribute editor. That is completely normal. Then down here we have our animation slider. Up here with that yellow thing, that is our graph editor to control our animation. Then we have our perspective view, we have the mesh editor window, and we have our outliner, okay? But we'll get to all that stuff. Okay, so I got my cube and I want to create a mesh instance network. How do I do that? Well, I select my cube and I go up and I hit this guy right here. And that's all I do. I just click on it. And once I do that, you see that my original cube disappears, it's hidden, and I see a row of 10 of these cubes, like this, all right? Okay, so now what? Well, first of all, this is a setting that we can change, and I'll show you. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the Mesh Distribute tab right here. And here, to start with, you see number of points. Now, I can go in and increase or decrease that number. Let's go with something like, I think 10 looked okay. And then what you can do is you can change the layout. Do you want it to be linear? Do you want it to be radial, which will give you something like this? Do you want to go in and do spherical? And you might say, well, that doesn't look like a circle. Hang on until I bump this up to, let's say, 800. And now it definitely looks like a sphere, okay? So let's go back to 10. And what I want is to set this to a grid. Now, once I do that, and I'll just show you, I can go in and I can change those settings. So I can change the distance between these here, that distance, and that distance. Well, I want this to be changed, obviously. So let's do something like this. I can change the layout like so. I can change it like so. And that's basically what we're going for. And let's see, we'll keep that, that's fine. That looks okay, I guess. Yeah. All right, cool. So now that we have that layout and we're happy with it, let's see what we can do next. Okay, so I got all this set up. Let's hit play on our animation. Let's see what happens. Here we go. And as you can see, nothing happens at all. For the simple reason that the only thing we've done so far is we took a cube and we turned it into a mesh instance. So there are a bunch of quote-unquote copies, well, not copies, instances of original cube, and that's it. So what we want to do next is we want to add dynamic properties. We want the cubes to do something, okay? So what we're going to do in the mesh editor node here is we're going to go in and we're going to hit that little plus button right here, and we're going to go in and we're going to add dynamics. And once we do that, a couple of things happen. First of all, I get a new grid down here, which is my virtual floor. And in the attribute editor, I get a bullet solver. And the reason for that is that the mesh instancer uses bullet for dynamics, okay? So the only thing we did is we added a dynamic, that's it. And now we're going to hit play again and see if anything has changed, okay? Here we go. And you can see that they fall down and they fall apart on the floor. Like that. Pretty cool, right? Okay. Okay, so now what? So now that we have that set up, is there anything we can do to change how this responds? Well, yes, there is. We have a lot of things. We can go in, we can, for example, bump up the bounce. So let's throw that up to, let's say, 1. And we'll hit play. And you can see that they're quite bouncy. And we'll even go up to, let's say, 3. And we'll do that one more time. And that's completely nuts. So let's do 1.8. One more go. Yep. All right. You get the idea. Okay. All right. So let's do 0.1. We're going to go back. You can also change the mass if you want them to be very heavy or very light. The maximum velocity. What if you want them to move in slow motion? We'll bring that way down. Okay. Let's hit play again. Wait until that one is done. As you can see, falling very, very, very slowly. And actually, it's falling so slow that we don't have enough frames in our animation. So let's set that to 2000. There we go. Let's hit play again. And now it went so slow that it didn't even bounce or fall apart or whatnot. Okay, so let's see. We'll bump that velocity back up again. We'll hit play once more. And boom, there you go. Okay, so cool so far. Now what's next? I want my blocks or my cubes to interact with something else than just the grid, okay? So I'm just gonna jump back to frame 1 and let's create something. Let's do, I don't know, we'll do a sphere. We'll go to create, we'll go to polygon primitives and we'll do sphere. We'll hit W, we'll push that down. Come on, we'll push that down. W, yeah, there we go. We're going to hit R to scale that up. Looks like I flattened it a little bit. So let's create a new one. Sorry for that. W, yeah. R to scale up, all right. So now that we have that, let's give this another go. I'm going to hit play. Let's see what happens. And there we go. And as you can see, nothing happens between the cubes and the sphere. For the simple reason that, again, we are using a bullet solver that controls our dynamics, and we need to tell the bullet solver that suddenly there's a sphere in play and it needs to interact with it. Okay? So we're going to go into our into our outliner, sorry. We're going to select the bullet solver, which will give us this layout right here. And what you see is that there's a window called Collider Objects. So I want something here to be added so it will collide with my objects that have a bullet solver attached. And in this case, that is my sphere. So I'm going to middle mouse click and drag and drop it into that window. And there we go. So now let's hit play once more. Let's see what we got. And as you can see, they are perfectly interacting with my cube. All right, so one more thing I want to show you. What if you want to keyframe the object that is interacting with our blocks here, okay? Now, if we go in and we hit play again, let's see when it starts to interact, okay? So I'm gonna hit play. So we are at frame 39, and you can see that we have some nice interaction going on, okay? So I'm just going to jump back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cube, I'm going to hit W, move it over here. I'm going to hit S on my keyboard to keyframe that, sorry. Then I'm going to scrub to, let's say, 39, and at 39 I want it to be right here, and I'm going to hit S on my keyboard again, and then I'm going to scroll it to, let's say, 76, move it again, and hit S on my keyboard again. All right, so we're going to jump everything back to frame 1, and let's hit play and see what we got. I'm going to turn off this black grid for a second here. Okay, ready? Here we go. Now, is that cool or what? Okay, so that should be sufficient for you to get started in MASH and to have some fun, and that is the purpose of this video. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you want to see more videos in the future, make sure you subscribe, okay? Well, thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you guys later. Bye. Well, thanks for watching, and before you go, please hit that MH button to subscribe, okay? See you guys next time. Bye.